Alright, so now let's look at graphing and using a table. I'm going to go to a new document and add a graph and say I want to graph the equation y equals 3x plus 2. As you can see, instead of having a y equals button, you just go to the graph and this bottom row is your equation editor. So I do 3x plus 2, and obviously it's not y now, it's a function notation. Hit enter, and there it is. So, but as you also notice, you no longer have your equation editor at the bottom. You hit the tab key and it brings it back up. And then you can hit the up arrow and that will take you back to where you were, or you can hit the down arrow to bring you to different functions there. So let's tab back out of that. It's labeled here, obviously. The other things you can do with it, if you move your cursor over it until you get to this arrow right here, that lets you rotate the line, keeping the same y-intercept, and it keeps kind of shows you as the slope there changing as we do that. The other thing you can do is you get closer here and it gives you this. This lets you keep the same slope but change the y-intercept, and there's something akin to that for each of the families of functions. So now let's say we wanted to do some things with this. Let's hit the menu button and see what all we can do with this. Alright, under actions, this is where you can hide an equation. I don't use this much with the kids, but you could if you wanted to. You can delete it, you can label it. There's several different things you can do there. Under the Analyze Graph, you can find the zero, you can find the minimum maximum if it's one that has one. If you have a system, you can find the intersection there. We can do some derivatives and integrals and all that good stuff. Under Trace, you can trace it and do the step and that kind of thing. Let's go ahead and type in another equation. I'm hitting tab and I'm going to do 2x plus 3. We're going to see where that's no good. They cross too close to each other. Alright, so there's where they cross, somewhere up there. Let's use the menu and Analyze Graph and find the intersection. Now you just scroll your finger across the touchpad. For the lower bound, you just have to be somewhere to the left of the intersection. For the upper bound, you have to be somewhere to the right. As you can see, it's already found it, even though I'm not done. It is this point right here. I can then click and hold, and it will, it's a little different on the computer than on the actual calculator. I'm doing too much all at once, aren't I? I click it, it is not working for me. There we go. And I can drag it over here where I can see it a little bit better. So 2.19, 4.88 is my intercept point. Now if you want a table, you hit Control T. So Control T will get you your table. You can also do it from the menu. I could hit the menu and view, and okay, it's not at the menu view. It's under table. It makes more sense. So we split screen table. And so here's your table over here. Here's f1 of x, and there's its values at each of those inputs. And you scroll over and you get all the f2 of x. If you hit Control 6, I believe it is at this point, it breaks it into two different tabs. So tab 1.1 is the graph. Tab 1.2 is the table, which makes it a little bit simpler to see. Let's go back and put the table on here with Control T. To get the table off, you have to click over here in the graph area, and now you can see that it's highlighted, and hit Control T again to get rid of that table. And so that's the basics of how we do graphs and tables. Almost everything you're going to want to be able to do from it is either on the table or on the menu. And they each have their own menu. If we click here, we see that the menu looks different. There are fewer options. Table settings is here, all that kind of thing. Remove the table is the same, Control T, so that takes care of that. So that's how we do graphs and tables.